It's time. It's time to start wiring this thing. Now, I have the original complete wiring harness for the truck. This is my 2003 Chevy Silverado. Wiring harness, computer, the whole works. I have everything. But I had to decide what was my best option, and this is what I decided. eBay. I bought an eBay wiring harness, a standalone wiring harness for a 60LS 4L80 transmission drive-by wire. If you've always wondered, are those eBay wiring harnesses worth a damn? I'm gonna find out for you so you can not make the mistake if it's wrong. The guy had good reviews. I mean, that's gonna say something, right? I know the wiring harness I took off of this wouldn't fit in this box. Can tell you that much right now. Don't know what that's for. I'm sure I'll figure it out. It even comes with instructions. Seems like a lot of reading. So I'll clearly just skip over most of that. This has a picture of what everything is. So I'm gonna start with that. I might have screwed up and got the wrong injector plugs. Shit! I better look into that. Oh wait, actually, I might have got lucky and got the right ones. If you've never done one of these, there's a whole slew of different plug styles for injectors. I didn't know any of this until I started doing this. So looking at this thing, looks basically like a Sentinel from The Matrix. This goes in the cab department, then all this kind of just goes over there. But I gotta drill a hole with this big ass grommet and then, oh, that's hot, ow. I suppose I gotta feed every one of those wires through that. I guess that's as good a place as any to start. This would be easier with more hands, but we'll make it happen. Hopefully without even breaking any wires. I mean, we're making things happen. It's getting jammed up. Why are we getting jammed up? I got it done good now. I can't even get it in or out. Come on, fat plug, get out of there. What is going on here? All those wires I put through? Yeah, I gotta push them all back through now because I need to get this plug through first. My God. Whew. They could have given us a little bit bigger hole. We'll make her work. I think that's all of it. I gotta, how do you, ground strap, power supply, blah, 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 blah. I need to figure out which side goes where. That goes to crank sensor, starter, battery terminals. Right hand O2 sensor. My plug doesn't look like this. Boy, that's gonna go all the way down there. Holy cow. Tell you what, with my removable doghouse here, makes it a lot easier to get in here. Just gonna start knocking this shit out, I guess. Keep my road map handy, because Lord knows I'm gonna need that. Would you be surprised if I already told you I plugged the wrong injector into the wrong wire? Because you shouldn't be. No, I can't get it off. You got to be shitting me. Hey, let's try this again. There's two, and even the coil packs. All right, what's all this stuff for now? I'm not sure why my O2 sensors have different plugs on them. Knock sensor. We're getting this figured out here. Maybe. Go in your home. Ah, gotcha. all these for then, you think? ECT sensor, mass airflow sensor, and alternator. Might help if I use the right plug. In my head, I just want to go and see if this thing will run now, but I can't. Like, where's this go? Why haven't I got this plugged into anything? None of my starter stuff is hooked up. In fact, I don't even remember where I put the starter. Oh, this goes the map sensor. Duh. I knew that already. To say things may be a little out of hand at this point with the wiring might be a bit of an understatement. I had saved my T-case wiring and everything I needed for the transmission, the transfer case. I can't seem to find it, and this is literally all the wiring from the truck. So I'm not sure what I'm missing here or what I've done. I did find my gauge cluster, so I got that, and then I found the connector for the gauge cluster, so I might cut this out, but I was really looking for my T-case stuff. I found the transfer case control module, so there's that. I can't even find the buttons right now. I don't know what I've done. I'm super organized. You could say. I'll figure it out though. I seem to always do. Look at this. I was smart. I labeled it. I completely forgot I labeled it. So I'm just gonna at least separate this section of wiring out here and see what I'm dealing with. So I was able to trace this back. My T-case harness. It's progress. I know it's messy progress, but it's still progress. I don't need all these extra plugs. I don't even know what they're all for, honestly. I know this goes into the T-case for the shifter. This was a speed sensor, but I think with the new standalone harness, that speed sensor gets plugged into the T-case now. I don't know where that got plugged into. This is obviously a ground of some sort. I'm not sure if it's tied into the T-case. And then a bunch of other plugs. So I think I need to strip this, get all the loom off of it, and see what wires are going where. These other plugs might not have anything to do with T-case, so I'm just gonna strip this down quick here. Well, that explains where that wire goes. That goes nowhere. I was gonna try and save a bunch of this loom. Not anymore. It's cheap enough to replace. Yes, I'm trying to be careful not to wreck any wires. They make standalone T-case harnesses. I've only ever found them for diesels. I don't know what the difference is, but they're like $400 to $500, and that ain't happening. Remember, this wire goes to this plug. I don't know what that's for. And black, black and white, brown, black and red. So this wire, this plug has to do with the T-case. So that's still connected to those wires. So these two plugs for sure. I'll see if I can find some kind of pin diagram. Oh boy, do I have a mess. I mean, it's not just contained in here either. It's spread all around the garage. It's just how I work, people. It's fine. What have we got going on in here though? No, it's not ready to start yet, but we're making steps in that direction. I sliced my finger open with a razor blade, cutting open wire loom. Yeah, that was fun. What I've done, I have spent the better part of 3 days, whittling down harness.
So last night I was out here monkeying around. I made, you know, what's that called? A computer mount. Gonna hang that up underneath the dash there. It'll be nice and tucked up underneath there. You won't be able to see it, and it should help the wires all get tucked up underneath the dash real good. Well, everything was going good until I realized that, well, somehow I misaligned things. I don't know what I did wrong, but it was late. I only had 2 hours of sleep from working the night before, so that's probably part of the problem. So I got to cut that out and fix it. But that's where it's gonna go before I can move on to anything else. It's just a little fire, not a big deal. Ooh, it stinks. So now I gotta start untangling this wiring mess that I've got here. The good thing is everything's pretty well labeled. I've already pinned everything that I should need to for the computer. If I gotta add something or take something away, I can always do that. That's not a big deal. So I'm just gonna start routing things and figuring out where they need to go and getting them where they need to be, and start shortening some of these wires up because I don't need them to be 80 feet long. And I can just wrap some of these wires up around here to my gauge cluster. I got this mounted in the dash. I don't know if you haven't seen that video, I can put a link to that. It's just sitting there now, but it does actually mount into the dash. You know, just got to keep whittling away at it and just chip it away a little bit at a time. This wiring's a little overwhelming. Alright, so I'm running into my first, I don't know if it's an issue, but situation with this eBay wiring harness. I've got pretty much all my wiring figured out where it needs to go from it. I'm down to this last wire that is pink. None of my list says anything about pink. I am missing a tan wire, so I'm really hoping that's it, because it's not here. Just thought I'd throw that out at you because I don't have a tan wire and I have a pink wire, but I'm supposed to have a tan wire and I'm not supposed to have a pink wire. I don't know. I just went and labeled these wires. I mean, these are fan relay wires. I don't really need them at this point. At least I know where they are. I'm just separating, just, you know, breaking the wiring harness down a little bit more. And these aren't really pertinent to running. There's the pink wire, an orange wire, and a gray wire. A park signal. I don't really need that. The oil pressure signal, I might need that. I don't really know. I think that was like pre-03, and this is an 03, so I think it gets its signal from the data. PCM, blah, blah, blah. Technical terms I don't understand. And magic. We're just gonna tie them up, mark them, put them out of the way for now, get it running, and then figure it out. I'm making progress here. I'm actually making progress. You'll see that the wiring mess is really tied it up here. This is the park neutral selector switch, my bobber. I'm not even sure if I want to wire that in. That's all these wires are. Everything else is really cleaned up, connected, and ran where it's going to go, even underneath the dash. I mean, look at that. I'll even wire loom this so it looks better. I surprised myself. I kept the mounting stuff for like the T-case module and the throttle control. So that's all like securely mounted in there. I really impressed myself with that one. So everything's mounted, routed. It's still a little loose. I gotta still tie it up where it needs to go. I've left slack in it so I can pull things out without having to work up underneath the dash like a contortionist, because that fucking sucks. It's taken longer than it probably should have. I've kind of let my OCD take over, and I've shortened harnesses. Like this harness was 8 feet long and now it's, you know, a foot. I've really taken time to shorten harnesses down, make sure wires are routed, harness things together where wires are rerouting, and I'm really trying to make it so when I break down on the side of the road, it's easier for me. Not necessarily aesthetically looking better, but it's easier for me to trace problems down, because I know me and I'm gonna break down. But at least the wiring won't be a frickin' disaster to deal with, like that one maybe. I'm not gonna admit to that there's a possibility that wiring is not as good. But you live and you learn. That's how you figure these things out.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out.